Hello, we're back with part 5 for this week. So this is Unit 6, Lesson C. We're here with more grammar, but I wanted to ask, how was the last lesson? Was it confusing? Was it pretty easy? If you are still struggling with although clauses, please let me know. I would be more than happy to help you. But also, we need to have although clauses to understand today's lesson. Today we will talk about clauses of reason and concession. So, although clauses are clauses of concession. And if you remember, we use although to join two clauses that have that are contrasting. One of the clauses is surprising because of the information in the other, right? So for example, although I have a dishwasher, I do not use it very often. Okay, which clause in that sentence right here, which one is surprising? If you said, I do not use it very often, then you are correct. That is the surprising piece of information. Why is that surprising? It's surprising because most people, if they have a dishwasher, they will use it because dishwashers are convenient. So today we're going to take that another step further and talk about because clauses. Okay, so if you'll look on page 74, and you will see at the top, there's that orange box. Let's read that together. We use because to join two clauses in which one gives a reason for the other. Okay, stop right there. So you remember, we just said we use although when the two contrasting pieces of information, one is surprising because of the other. So, but we use because when the two clauses, one gives a reason for the other. So let's just think for a second. Oops, I forgot a sentence. We will erase this. Yeah, we will just erase all of that. So, although I have a dishwasher, I do not use it very often. I do not use it. Oops, goodness gracious. I do not use it very often because it is broken. Okay? So, let me make sure you can see that. Great. Okay. So here we have two clauses. The first one says, I do not use it very often. Why? Because it is broken. So one clause gives a reason for the other. right? There's a reason for that. Let's look at the example they give us in the book at the top of the page, right here. The first sentence says, because cable internet is fast, many people want it. So you could read that another way. Many people want it. Why? Because cable internet is fast. Okay? And then the second sentence says, read it with me. Although cable internet is fast, many people cannot afford it. Okay. So what are we looking for in the sentence with although? Which clause in that sentence is surprising? It's surprising or unexpected that many people cannot afford it, right? Okay. So at this point, you could scan the QR code like we do and watch the video, which has both an explanation and some ways to quiz yourself or to test yourself by pausing the video and answering the questions in your head before we press play. I have written 2 of the examples from the video on the whiteboard. So, if you do not have access to the video, we will do a couple of these here together. Make sure you can see them. Great. Okay. So, let's look at these 2 sentences here. Pay attention to the underlined clauses. All right? Now, complete the first sentence. Use because if the underlined clause gives a reason, but use although if the underlined clause gives information that is surprising or unexpected. Okay? So, the first one says, Tara enjoys reading. She does well in her exams. Will you complete this with because or although? If you said because, you are correct. Now, why do we use because there? This underlined clause does what? Does it give us a reason or does it give us surprising information? It gives us a reason. Because Tara enjoys reading, she does well in her exams. Why does she do well in her exams? Because she enjoys reading. Okay? Now the second sentence. Would you use although or because? Let's see. Although Tara enjoys reading, she doesn't like going to the library. Now, why did we use although? We use although because the underlined portion gives us surprising information or unexpected information. If Tara enjoys reading, it is surprising that she doesn't like going to the library, right? Okay, very good. Let's do another one. Look at the 2 sentences. Pay attention to the underlined clauses, and now complete the first sentence. Use because if the underlined clause gives a reason, and use although if it gives surprising or unexpected information. All right, although. And what about the second one? Very good. So we said although, because the underlined portion is what? Surprising or unexpected information. And here we chose because this underlined portion is what? It gives a reason. Okay? Very good. Let's turn this back around. Okay. Now, on to the practice. Let's look at the story below and fill in the blanks with either because or although. Just the same way that we did in our examples just now. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video here, and then we will go over the answers. Did you do it? Great. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read the story, so pay attention and listen for the answers. I won't stop. I'll just keep reading the sentences. And if you'd like, you can read along out loud with me, okay? Here we go. Although Pam and Beth are sisters, they are very different. Pam is very modern. She loves electrical appliances because they are fast and convenient. For example, she loves her microwave because she can use it to thaw meat quickly. She enjoys shopping for the latest kitchen devices, although some of them are very expensive. Beth has a different attitude about modern technology. She prefers not to use electrical appliances. For instance, she never uses a microwave because she thinks radiation is bad. She dries her clothes outside on a line because she likes their smell after they've been in the fresh air. She washes her dishes by hand because she says dishwashers waste energy. Pam doesn't understand why Beth is so old-fashioned. But although the sisters have different lifestyles, they appreciate and enjoy one another very much. All right, how did you do? Pretty well, I hope. I just want to point out, I don't know if everyone knows this, but if you can use the QR scanner, you can listen to someone reading this audio if you need to hear it repeated. You also obviously can rewind this video and hear me reading it again. So just so you know. Okay, now, part 2. This is going to be your homework, okay? Just a second, let me check. All right. So, and we might have time to do one of these or two of these together, but here we have 2 people. Their names are Mr. Techie and Mr. Non-Tech. Very creative names. You have 2 lists here of things that the 2 men like to do, right? So, first, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask, what does techie mean? Have you ever heard this term? Techie is actually a term that describes someone who is familiar with the latest technology. Okay, and then what do you think non-tech means? Non-tech kind of describes someone who is not knowledgeable about the latest technology, because you know non is a prefix meaning not. So non-tech would mean not technology, right? So, let's look at the examples that they've given us. You see the first line in both columns. For Mr. Techie, it says, uses a smartphone to calculate. So you know calculate means numbers, right? Adding or, doing math with numbers. So, the example they gave above in the blue bubble, read it out loud with me. Mr. Techie uses a smartphone to calculate because it's convenient, right? So, the assignment is to take each of these phrases and turn it into a sentence with two clauses like this one, using either because or although. So Mr. Techie uses a smartphone to calculate. Why? Because it's convenient. So now it doesn't say on here anywhere it's convenient. You can decide why you think Mr. Techie uses a smartphone to calculate, right? Let's look at the next example. The first phrase here in this column under Mr. Non-Tech says, uses an adding machine to calculate. Now, I will be honest, I don't even know what an adding machine is. I'm guessing it's like a calculator. But let's read the example sentence they gave here in the purple. Mr. Non-Tech uses an adding machine to calculate, although it isn't always convenient. So, you remember, we use although to contrast two pieces of information where one piece is surprising because of the other piece of information. So which one of these clauses is a surprise or unexpected? Mr. Non-Tech uses an adding machine to calculate. I think that's pretty surprising. It isn't always convenient, and that is pretty well-established knowledge, right? So, your assignment is to pick, let's say, you should do at least 4 sentences total. Maybe 2 about Mr. Techie and 2 about non-tech. 2 of your sentences, maybe 1 from Mr. Techie and 1 from Mr. Non-Tech, should be using because, and then 1 from Mr. Techie and 1 from Mr. Non-Tech, you should use although. Okay, so in the end you will have 4 sentences total. 2 of them use because, 2 of them use although. 2 of them are about Mr. Techie, and 2 of them are about Mr. Non-Tech. Okay, at least. If you can do more, please do more. But if 4 total is enough, that's fine. And your assignment then is to write share one of your sentences that you write in a comment on YouTube. Okay? So comment below this video with one of the sentences that you came up with. And if you see someone else's sentence, you cannot use that sentence for your assignment, okay? So I think that'll do it. If you have any questions, I know sometimes this is a lot of information. If you have any questions, please give me a call, send me an email, send me a message on WhatsApp. Email is preferred, but any method is fine. Please feel free to do so. All right, take care.